And we are back. We are back. It's your boy Big Vern. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to App Stupid Studios. Let's get after it. But first, let's jump into a rap break. Drop the beat. I'm fine. It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Stupid Studios. And we pushing a new rap album this month. De La Soul, Cabin in the Sky. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the track is Sunny Storms, Good Health. A Quick 16 for Mama is that song. I am sorry. Killer Mike is probably one of the top 5 MCs out there. He got bars, he got storytelling, and oh my goodness, that song goes hard on top of hard. Just how it is sometimes. Run it back with Nas? Forget about it. Forget about it. Enough. Believe in him. And then there's yours with Common. Oh my goodness. And Black Thought? And Slick Rick the Rulers on that song. My God. Man. And then Cabin in the Sky. The entitled track itself. De La Soul. In stores now. So shout out to De La Soul doing a thing, Cabin in the Sky. Make sure you go ahead and get the project. Rest in peace, Dave Tregoy. So the Cleveland Browns, they found their quarterback and Shedeur Sanders. Now, let me go ahead and put a couple of things out there. A lot of people don't know. The Cleveland Browns did not know what they had until draft night. And it was a problem because they didn't plan on having Shedeur Sanders on the roster. I'll go ahead and break this down for you because this is how all of this happened. Last year in March, when the NFL season started, the Cleveland Browns were the first to jump out the window and sign Kenny Pickett because he got waived from the Philadelphia Eagles after the Super Bowl. Now, they were looking at him as just a guy to come in and take the reins until Deshaun Watson was going to get healthy. And they wanted to go ahead and assess Deshaun Watson's skills at coming back, or what's the probability he might be back to play in the 2025 season. However, when it became apparent that they were not going to be able to get Deshaun Watson back, they inked Joe Flacco to a deal for $2 million 3 weeks before the NFL draft. Stop me if I'm lying to you. Cleveland, they did not know what they had in Shedeur Sanders. They didn't even know if he was going to be available. Also, you got to look at it like this. Cleveland, they owed a lot of teams picks because the Deshaun Watson thing had them on the hook. The Deshaun Watson trade had them on the hook to give away a first-round pick. Their fourth-round pick, that was seized by Carolina because that was involved in a triple-team trade to get Arizona's. You had DeAndre Hopkins, and you had P.J. Pickett, the quarterback. That got them guys out of their contracts. And then they owed their 7th round. And so when you went and looked at this and you had to go ahead and say, Cleveland's got to get younger, they've got to get better, that's when all of this unfolded on draft night. Remember, Dillon Gabriel wasn't their first choice. He was their last pick. Well, he wasn't their last pick because that would have been Shedeur, but he was the pick at quarterback because they figured that Shedeur wasn't going to be around. They figured Shedeur Sanders wasn't going to be around, so they took Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel was never supposed to see the field. Dillon Gabriel was the pick of Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff. They felt like they can work with this guy. He had a lot of intangibles and some things that they liked. They didn't feel this way about Shedeur. The front office felt this way about Shedeur. It was Cleveland's front office that wanted Shedeur there. It wasn't the coaching staff. That's why I said that they didn't know what they had. Now, flash forward. Kenny Pickett was just supposed to assume the reins, and then Flacco was his backup. But now they got 4 quarterbacks. So in preseason or in training camp, Pickett got hurt. They cut Pickett. They let him keep his signing bonus, and he went away. OTAs, we covered it. They had Shedeur throwing 6 touchdowns in 2 days. Everybody around the building, the buzz became palpable. Everybody was saying, hey, look, this guy might work out. Because they took him so late, they found the QB they didn't have to pay a boatload of money to. Also, his skill set is different than Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel's not a guy who can leave the pocket, make plays with his feet, look downfield, and still have the arm strength to make these ridiculous throws. He didn't do it at Oklahoma. He didn't do it at Oregon. We've been over this. But Kevin Stefanski and them, being hard-headed, the coaching staff, they wanted him there. In preseason, the brass wanted Shedeur to go ahead and start that first game. When it was rumored Shedeur Sanders was going to be the starter in the preseason game, they sold out. They had an attendance record. It was bigger than anything pre-sold in Cleveland Brown history. It was bigger than Baker Mayfield. You had to go all the way back to 2014. I know this. I don't need notes because, trust me, I'm the best in the world. That's how this works. They didn't know what they had. But the coaching staff didn't want Shedeur. So Shedeur, coming out of preseason, he suffers an injury, which was good for Stefanski and company because they didn't plan on playing him anyway. But they also didn't plan on Joe Flacco stinking the joint up. And then Joe Flacco became trade bait. They gave the reins to Dillon Gabriel. They rushed his development because the Cleveland fans, they demanded such. But Dillon Gabriel hadn't thrown a touchdown in a month up until that point, and he was stinking up the joint to where he was getting booed at home. And so being sarcastic, being very nasty, and having malice intended, they threw Shedeur out there against Baltimore Ravens defense, and they didn't even have an O-line to protect the boy. See, Stefanski was hoping that Sanders was going to get hurt, and that would have put the end to this. Remember, they're not paying him a lot of money. They're not paying Shedeur a lot of money. His endorsement deals are bigger than his rookie contract. And that works out well for the front office because they can get butts in the seat. They can get TV time. They can go ahead and fill their pockets, the coffers. At the same time, the fans are getting what they want. And when you perceive to have a kid who's getting done wrong, everybody's rooting for them. That's why this man was getting a standing ovation in Vegas. That's why this man had people in Tennessee cheering for him. And he was playing a hell of a game. But Kevin Stefanski and company, they don't like that. What they don't understand is that they're out of a job. Because if they can't go ahead and swallow their pride and make this work, they won't be in Cleveland. Remember, Kevin Stefanski has had more talent and done less with it than any coach in the NFL. How he still has a job is mystifying to me. This is why he had that little stunt in the preseason and OTAs where he just went and drew up 14 new plays and he threw them out there to see which quarterback would actually acclimate to these plays, understand them, and complete them in their entirety. And Shedeur's name kept coming up. Shedeur's football acumen was higher than what they anticipated. Again, the front office wanted Shedeur. The coaching staff didn't. And now it's undeniable. It's undeniable that this kid is Cleveland's ticket back to relevancy. It's this kid who will give the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens a fight in the AFC North. It is not Dillon Gabriel. I kept telling people this is the best that you're going to see Dillon Gabriel unless he gets traded somewhere like San Francisco or the Rams, because those two clubs have the same offense that Oregon has, and that plays well to his attributes. He knows the playbook, and he can make those plays for guys who are just breakneck speed and can burn you. Not only in cross cover routes, but fly routes, go routes, whatever you want. Those guys can do it. And that's okay. But just so we're clear, the coaching staff didn't want Shedeur. The front office did. And now the front office is throwing their weight around because they gave Stefanski 10 weeks to show me something. And this kid has generated more buzz in 2 weeks with the Cleveland Brown brand than that dude did all season long. Remember, at one point they had Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. All they amassed was a wild card. Think about that. That's a mini all-star team, and all they amassed was a wild card. That's Kevin Stefanski. And before you know it, you're going to look around at the end of the season, and he's going to be the one shipped out. Because the front office, as far as they can tell, if he continues to have games like this at home in front of his crowd, sky's the limit for Shedeur. Sky's the limit for Shedeur. And I know that the coaching staff didn't want Shedeur after the Vegas game. Stefanski, he wasn't even man enough to look him in the eye and give him the game ball. That's game, set, match right there. That's game, set, match right there. Now, here's the scam. Other channels will listen to me and they will come out and say, oh, I'm calling it right now. Y'all full of shit. I'm the only one who's telling you the truth. This is Big Vern. Yeah, it's your boy Big Vern. Y'all know the drill. Get in the comments whether you agree or disagree. Let me know what's going down. It's your boy Big Vern. We'll be